everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Women's Cave / Ladies Tale podcast, because we have this guest today that's doing something so amazing that that Winona and I tried to do, right? We tried to do a little reality show, and it kind of really wasn't that great, but we did it anyway, and y'all followed us, and y'all were like, y'all are cheerleaders saying, y'all are doing better this episode than was the last episode, and y'all were amazing to us, and we appreciated it. I'm Jade, by the way. And yes, Winona's not here, so we're gonna maybe have a serious interview, and I'll be able to get through all of the books and everything without Winona interrupting. It feels weird. I had a little pause because I'm always ready for Winona to interrupt, and she's not here. So all right, let's see. We wrote literary life guides with pop poetry. Some people call them anthologies. We don't do that. We are literary life guides with pop poetry. And I thought divorce was bad with other life lessons. And I thought being grown up was easy if only I were me, a memoir in verse. And Widow's Web and Foreign Coffee, all available where you get your audiobooks, and you can check out the other 17 books in my favorite. And I thought I did my journey alone on www.andithoughladies.com. But y'all aren't here to hear about me droning on about the books and how we had this what was I saying before? You know what? I don't know what I was saying. You're not here to hear about me talk about myself. You're here to hear from my wonderful guest. Wonderful guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
I'd love to. I'm Arielle Eckstut, and I was a literary agent for many, many years. I'm the author of 10 books myself, and I'm the co-creator of a new show called America's Next Great Author that we're filming the pilot for on October 30th.
This is amazing. I mean, so much to talk about here, but first, we have to talk about the books, because your girl Jade, she loves reading all the time. So let's talk about your books and what the titles are and how you even came up and had time to write them, because being a literary agent is a busy, busy job.
It is. And actually, I quit being an agent for a long time when I wrote a lot of those books because it is really hard to write and have a full-time job helping other people write their books, etc. But the book that I wrote that is really the seed for the show also is a book I co-wrote with my husband called The Essential Guide to Getting Your Book Published. And we say it's the what to expect when you're expecting of publishing.
Oh, so you're expecting that book, baby. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like everything you need. Oh, and look at me. I have a copy right here.
Yes.
So I've written a whole bunch of other books on a lot of all different subjects, from the science of color, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, to a parody of Jane Austen and a whole bunch of other stuff. But my life has really been devoted to getting people published who often aren't usually given a seat at the publishing table at major publishers.
So that had to help you to get this idea of America's next top. Wait, I'm a novelist. I know I'm going to say it wrong.
Great author.
See, and this is why Winona and we try not to say names, because we mess them up all the time.
Yeah, it definitely did. So we have done, my husband and I created an event called Pitchapalooza. That's kind of like the American Idol tryout part, where people get 1 minute to pitch their book idea to us and usually a couple guest judges, and then we critique them in a kind and gentle fashion. It's not about telling people how stupid or bad they are or whatever. It's really to help them to get published. And we've done this event everywhere from rural Alaska to Deadwood, South Dakota, to New Orleans, to Chicago, and everywhere in between. And we just saw so many amazing book ideas and writers, but with people who had no connections to major publishers. So these books were not getting published, and we wanted to fix that problem.
Okay, so that's where it was born. So tell us about when the cutoff date, how can we get involved in this?
Yeah. So we're filming this pilot, and a pilot, just for reality television, is essentially like a proof of concept. So it's something that you take to networks to sell the show. So we're filming the pilot in Newark, New Jersey. Newark has this incredible history of great literature that has come out of the city. And the mayor of Newark is a poet himself.
Nice.
So we're filming it on October 30th. And if you go to our website, www.americasnextgreatauthor.com, it has all the information about how to submit for the show.
That is fabulous. Now I'm gonna switch gears because yes, we don't do segues on this show, so I didn't have a smooth segue to switch gears. We're gonna talk about being a literary agent because I know that the authors, everyone out here that's listening to our show or watching this is thinking, well, how can I get a literary agent to be interested in my book?
Yeah. So I can answer that question, but before I do, I just want to say something about publishing today, because many people think I have to have a literary agent and I have to have a big publisher. So first of all, there are only 4 big publishers left in the United States, and there's about to be 3. When I started in this business in 1992, there were 25 major publishers. So everything has shrunk down, and publishers are mostly interested in publishing people that are either already successful authors, brands like Lego or the Kardashians or what have you, or people that already have a large platform in one way or another, whether they have a large social media following or a big company or whatever. So for most of us who are writing books, let's say a first novel or collection of poetry or whatever, going through a literary agent and a big publisher is often not the best way to go because they are just not interested. Now, that said, let's say you have a high concept thriller or a rom-com, or you have some interesting, let's say you do have a big TikTok following. You have a famous cat on TikTok, and you have a collection of photographs that this fan base really wants to have as a gift book. Those are the kinds of things that you would want to contact a literary agent about. And the key to going about getting a literary agent is doing your research. So as an agent, people send me query letters all the time that are for books that I don't do. And when I was a young agent, I used to respond and say, thank you, but I'm not interested. But at a certain point, I was like, I'm not going to spend my time responding to people who didn't do their research in the first place to find out if I was the right agent for them. So doing your research about the agent, finding out what kind of books that they do, and knowing where your book fits on the bookshelf. So for example, if you're writing a middle grade novel that has a fantasy aspect, and you write in your query letter, this is the next Harry Potter, it doesn't show that you have any actual knowledge of other writers because everybody knows what Harry Potter is. But if you put in your query letter that your book is a mix of Kwame Alexander's The Crossover with a touch of Jason Reynolds and some other twist on that, then people will be like, okay, this person actually knows about middle grade books. So researching your entire category, the agents, the publishers, that's a huge help in getting published.
Wow, that is some very insightful information. And I don't think I've ever heard knowing where your book sits on the bookshelf and quite that much detail. Like with a touch of this, I really appreciate. Thank you.
Like to just add one more point to that, you need to have read minimum 100 books on the part of the bookshelf where your book is going to sit.
Okay. Wow. Good information. Great information. All right. So you were going to film this pilot.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what is about the show in general.
Yep. So there are two parts to this show. The first part is this event that I mentioned called Pitch Palooza. Mm-hmm. So when we actually, we're filming the pilot, but when we film the actual show, we're going to be going to 6 different cities across America, and we will pick a winner from each of those cities, and then we're going to put them in a house together, and they have to write a book in 30 days. Now, what's unusual about our show, because our show is really driven by the mission to get new voices into publishing. This is not an elimination show. It's not sending someone home because they did a bad job. This is about creating community between writers and giving them the chance to succeed. And for everybody who finishes a book in that 30 days, they will get a book deal at the end of the show.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That is amazing. So I do have to ask the one silly question that Winona would probably want to ask.
Yeah, please.
What are the craft services looking like on these shows? And can we just come and eat craft services?
So it's funny that you say that, because I have a friend who is a professional baker who lives in Newark, and she makes these cupcakes that have poems on them. And I was like, oh, wouldn't that be so great if we could have the poem cupcakes as part of our craft services?
That's fabulous. So now I know that I'm taking the drive to Newark, New Jersey, because I need to have some of these cupcakes. That's fabulous. I'm going to write it on down on my calendar.
Okay. Excellent.
So can you tell us where we can find out more about the show and your books and follow you? And because we want to support the greatness.
Well, that would be amazing. So the website, americasnextgradeauthor.com. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And my book, for those of you who are interested in how to get a book published, my book is available everywhere that you can buy books. And my husband and I have our own site called thebookdoctors.com, and our own YouTube channel, which has all kinds of information about how to get a book published. Everything from how to write an author bio, which can be a very tricky thing, because a lot of people, either they haven't been published before, so they don't know what to put in a bio, or they're not self-confident, they don't feel like they've accomplished anything, when in fact, everybody has accomplished things. One of our favorite stories is we're doing a workshop about how to get published, and there was a woman who said, I have no idea how to write an author bio. And we were like, okay, well, what have you done in your life? She's like, I really haven't done anything. Now, this was a woman in her 40s. And we were like, well, I mean, you must have done something. She's like, no, I haven't done anything. And we said, well, what have you been doing for the past 40 years? She was like, well, I have 11 children. And we're like,
that's the Bible.
You have 11 children. Like, how, just the thought of that, I don't even understand it. Like, that is so interesting. And obviously you have unbelievable skills to be able to manage 11 children. So, but for her, that was nothing, because it was just her life. So anyway, so we have all kinds of information: how to write an author bio, how to write a query letter, how to make the first 10 pages of your book interesting, all of that kind of stuff.
That is amazing. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on our show today. Well, I guess it's my show right now, because Winona's not here. So I will go ahead and wrap us up. You can find out everything your ladies are doing on www.andithoughladies.com. While you're there, take a moment on the middle of the page and see the charities that we probably support. Maybe support them also. We thank you in advance for that. And just remember, y'all, wisdom is all around you if you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love from Winona, the missing Winona, and Jade. Bye-bye. Oh, yeah. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everybody.